99% of holders on Shiba Inu will catch this portfolio wiper. You here today, my friend, are going to be prepared against this storm. You're going to be prepared against this virus. You're going to take some form of vaccine. No controversial subjects here, but you will be ahead of the curve. You're going to find out where people are going to lose massive money on Shiba Inu, and you're not going to be one of them. Instead, you're going to be one of the 1% that's going to use that information, turn it around, flip it to the upside, and make a hell of a lot of money. Guys, stay tuned. Make sure you comment 777. If you're feeling bullish, comment 777 if you're feeling lucky, and let's go ahead and run the tape. Hey, what's going up, bull runners? Aaron AJ Crosby here with runguys.com, and we're kicking off this video with a giveaway. We're giving away $100, and all you've got to do is give the like button a smash and comment below. Each and every comment you leave gives you an entry. And of course, head on over to runguys.com to subscribe to our video newsletter, where we're going to announce the winner every single week. Now, let's go ahead and make some money. All right, Shiba Inu, welcome back. I want to share with you today a very urgent message. Like I was saying earlier, 99% of people will catch this move that will wipe their portfolios. But the sad bit about it is that you can allow your portfolio to bounce back and really take advantage of what's likely to happen on Shiba Inu. Where the problem is that almost everyone in the market, we're talking high 90% of people, will see their portfolios being wiped, and they will absorb that loss and walk away and be done. They'll try and reduce the loss by taking a minuscule amount of their holdings out of the market and try to, pay the rent with it, or, try to buy some, maybe it'll be so little you can't even pay the rent. You'll be looking to just pay for some shopping, some grocery shopping. But it's very sad. It doesn't have to be that way. We will be covering today exactly what this is. And I want to have a look at this news real quick. It's talking about how Shiba Inu is now the most popular crypto on Twitter, ahead of Uniswap, Polkadot, and Solana. And it goes on to say about how the Dogecoin killer Shiba Inu now essentially has over 900,000 followers on Twitter. It goes on to say how the holders will continue to petition for Robinhood to list and gather over 184,000 signatures. And obviously goes on to mention about how, the market capitalization as of today is about 3.5 billion, coming down from about 4 billion previously at previous highs as of the recent few weeks. But it's very telling, really, because, not only has Shiba Inu been one of the most popular coins ever in history in the duration of time that it's been out, but, the amount of money that's been transacted through Shiba Inu, transacted through Shiba Swap, the amount of Twitter followers it's got, and the amount of Telegram followers it's got, it's enormous. The spike in popularity, it's surpassed Uniswap, which has got 631,000 followers. Solana 622, Litecoin 768. The Litecoin's been around for a while, right? And Solana, in terms of market cap, is right up there. So it just goes to show you, Shiba Inu, without a shadow of a doubt, is a sleeping giant that everyone is sleeping on. And the people that are involved are still sleeping on how far this thing is going to go, and they're getting frustrated. Some people, I know a lot of people, have actually left the Shiba Inu ecosystem. They've said, you know what, screw it. I've lost 50% of my portfolio on the Shiba, and you know what, I'm walking away, and that's it, I'm done. And the issue with that is the last remaining people in Shiba Inu right now are going to go through some turmoil. Because what's likely to happen, the reality is, we are crashing on Bitcoin, okay? Bitcoin is crashing, and it's likely to go further, especially if we have an engulf this week, which I'm not sure yet. It looks like it's possible. It's coming back inside a little bit, but we need to see how this week closes out in the next day and a half. But essentially, if it does keep engulfing and goes down and eventually takes out the lows of the last few months, then what we will do is we'll probably come down here on Shiba Inu. Now, at this point on Shiba Inu, this is the portfolio wiper, because your portfolio will be reduced to not much at this point. The majority of your holdings, maybe 95% of your holdings, or maybe 90, will be wiped off. Okay, you'll be reduced by a lot. At this point, this is the hardest point of the market, because it's also the most critical point. Because what happens is, at this point here, anyone that's got any money left in there, they tend to take it out. They tend to withdraw. And when they withdraw at this point, they're taking off, they're licking their wounds, right? They're like a little puppy dog, licking the wounds. I just fell over, grazed my knee. Oh, here you go. Have some Savlon, have some antiseptic, and have a big dummy and some Cowpole, right? Now, that is all good in the school playground when you're 6 years old, but it doesn't work in investing. At that point in the market is the best time to invest. If you've been with me for a while, you would have seen the Wall Street cheat sheet, and you know that is the little best time to invest. When everyone is exiting and licking their wounds is the best time to invest. That's when the big dogs invest. And guys, don't go anywhere on this video, because as you know already, we're going to be hearing from Cathie Wood on why this is the future and exactly how it's going to look. Because I think what most people don't understand is what runs alongside parallel with cryptocurrency and blockchain technology is things like robotics and renewable energy. But all of these are playing into each other in such a tremendous way. We've never seen the growth of anything in the world ever before, such as blockchain or cryptocurrency. This is the fastest growing technology that's ever been adopted. And you're going to see how the other technologies are actually impacting the same all the way through. But there is a portfolio wiper. If you don't understand this information, you can't take from it what you're going to learn from me here today. It will be wiping your portfolios. Real quick, let's have a quick look at what Cathie Wood's got to say right here.
Showing up physically and displaying your passion and your ability to commit in that way is meaningful. So,
attend those book signings, guys. That's what you have to do to get a job in crypto. All right, so we're definitely going to talk about crypto today, but first, I think we want to do some high-level orientation here. And Cathie, we want to understand a bit more about how you think about investing. And I think as David and I were talking about doing this show, one thing that really struck us is ARK has seen an insane level of success, I think, by doing one thing very simply, and that is pricing in the future today. Like, no one is pricing in the future like Cathie Wood and ARK Invest and your talented analysts. And that seems to be the investment thesis for ARK. And I want to ask this question to orient us. What makes you think this future that we're always talking about is so close?
Oh, my goodness. We are on the threshold of an explosion in innovation, and crypto is symptomatic of it. The seeds for what is about to happen were planted during the 20 years that ended with the tech and telecom bubble. Those seeds have been gestating for 20 to 25 years, sometimes 30 years, and are now beginning to blossom. And that's not even the right word. They are exploding into existence. So we think there are 5 major platforms, 14 different technologies that are all getting ready to move into the sweet spot of their S-curves. And there are going to be convergences between and among these technologies. So you're going to have one S-curve feeding another, and creating explosive energy and explosive growth. And I think in the crypto space, we're going to see blockchain technology and artificial intelligence converge and cause explosive reactions. So it's pretty exciting. Just to get back to investing in the future, when I was trying to explain to someone what I wanted to do before starting ARK, and who's not in our business, he said to me, "Oh, you mean that in the future of investing is investing in the future?" And I said, "You got it." Well, now, when I started in the business, that's the only way people thought about investing. And then we went through the tech and telecom bust, and then the 08-09 meltdown, and we ended up with huge risk aversion in the markets. and a tendency to invest very much like the broad-based indices out there. In other words, not adding much more value than the indices themselves. And the indices are where they are because of what has happened historically. The largest companies, the most heavily weighted companies in these indices are there because of their past success. But if we're right, and all of this disruptive innovation is about to explode, well, they are in harm's way.
Kathy, in a presentation that ARC gave in the Big Ideas 2019, there's a slide that you guys have that talks about, illustrates some sort of relationship between innovation and investment and just the development of technologies and the future. And on the very right side of this graph, where we are currently today, 2020, you guys have it just like soaring up and to the right with exactly what you just said, like so many different technologies all hitting the peak steepness of their S-curve all at once. So a couple questions here. Have we ever seen any sort of alignment of the stars with how many different technologies are like really hitting their strides all at once? And what makes you believe that this is actually true?
Yes, well, this chart was drawn by Brett Winton, or developed by Brett Winton, who's our director of research. And he was working with academic literature to try and understand what would be the productivity or the impact on productivity of the combination of these platforms. And what he's depicting here is the productivity uplift is going to be unlike anything we've ever seen. We've had multiple platforms evolving at the same time only once before, and that was in the early 1900s: telephone, automobile, and electricity. And that world, that was the technologically enabled innovation of the time, and transformed our world completely. Let me put some numbers on where we are now. In 2019, when we did this chart, we evaluated the market cap around the world associated with truly transformative innovation. That year, it was $7 trillion. So it was less than 10% of the global equity market cap. That's public equity. The next year, last year, that doubled to 14 trillion. And we did have a very good year last year. We believe that in the next 5 to 10 years, that number is going to north of $100 trillion. But what we're not saying when so that's the upside. The downside will be in the broad-based benchmarks, which have been beneficiaries of the traditional world order and are now going to be disrupted and disintermediated.
So in order to summarize this section about like this explosive innovation, what is the current market holding true that you think the market is fundamentally wrong about?
I think the pace of innovation and the convergence between and among these platforms. Most investors have never seen exponential growth. Well, they recall seeing it once. It was during the tech and telecom bubble, and that ended badly. And that's why there's been this allergic reaction to innovation and high valuations. Most investors have a 1-year time horizon, maybe 18 months. We have a 5-year investment time horizon. The early years of exponential growth, when we're at low numbers in terms of the base, the numbers don't look that much different from linear growth. But when you go out 5 years, the difference between exponential, so revenue growth rates in the 25 to 50% range per year, and let's say GDP growth, which might be 5% at best, night and day. And I think what gives us the differentiation is our starting point. We start from the top down, trying to size markets, and we center our research on something called Wright's Law. Wright's Law is a relative of Moore's Law. Moore's Law is a function of time Wright's law is a function of units. And actually, Wright's law has worked better in the semiconductor industry than Moore's law itself during the last few years. And so that's how we get to numbers like the electric vehicle space, 2.2 million last year, but the costs are dropping to such an extent now that we think that number is going to 40 million, almost half of the global cars sold in 5 years, actually more like 4 years now. No one has that kind of accelerated growth in their models. They've never seen it before, so they're not modeling it in the future. But Wright's law is a very good guide.
Just to hop in and emphasize this point, because I'm sure Yassine and I both have built these Wright's law models. Kathy's saying, like, as you increase the units of production, there's a certain cost decline curve to that technology. And so that's a lot of ARC's work of being able to predict out 5-10 years. What are the costs of these things going to be based on the units produced? There's this other thing that was coming to my mind as Kathy was talking, and Elon Musk has this line of fate loves irony, which always messes up my head. But when I think about how backward looking a lot of traditional finance has become, that comes at the same time, and the backwards looking is, as Kathy's saying, focusing on indices and investing based on the past. That's happening at the same time that the world is changing at an accelerating rate. And so there is this tragic irony that people are more and more backwards looking in their investing, at least institutions are, while the opportunity is getting larger and larger in the future. And I think that what's great about that actually is it opens up a space for retail. And ARC is predominantly, I think, retail favored with growing institutional respect. And I think that will only grow over time. But the opportunity is really for retail to catch up to institutions. You guys say front run the opportunity, but it's just retail being future looking while the institutions are backwards looking.
Well said. Absolutely. And this kind of this tragic irony that you're talking about, Chris, kind of gets into another question that's been on my mind, which is this: like, we all have haters out there. David and I, we have haters. It doesn't take long. Go scroll our YouTube comments. Every once in a while, there's lots of people who are willing to trash what you're doing. And Kathy, you have some haters too. There's an anti-Kathy Wood ETF out there. I've heard critics call what you're doing unprofitable tech. That's what they call your sector. Our friend from Real Vision, Raoul Paul, was just on recently, and he says part of this is because people are fundamentally afraid of change. Is there something to that? Why do you think there are like the haters of the world disparaging the work that you're doing and kind of your method?
Actually, I feel very comfortable when I'm in that kind of situation. If everybody loved what we were doing and they were chasing it, I'd feel much less comfortable. So I'm kind of used to it. I've faced it actually inside the traditional world as well, as I became an otter and otter duck, and my counterparts were becoming more benchmark sensitive. So, it was kind of, it seemed like, to them at least, rebellious. So are they afraid of change? I think there's muscle memory associated, certainly at the high level management, associated with the tech and telecom bubble. And many equity leaders went down and basically ceded power to the fixed income market. So many of the leaders of financial firms came out of the fixed income world because of the tech and telecom bust. Many equity leaders lost their jobs then, and then again, 08, 09. And so you have this very conservative group of people who really haven't managed equities ever, and actually understand more benchmark sensitivity, since that's how that world works. And I suppose this just seems like, again, an odd duck running around with her head cut off. They're not willing to look at the kind of research we're doing, which we provide freely out there. In fact, we provide our Tesla model, right? And to help to educate people, saying, look, we've done the research that supports these numbers. And I think the biggest surprise to me is that giving the research away, spoon feeding them with the models has not changed much. But I think it will change. We're just going to keep, if we are right, then those who are wedded to benchmarks are going to lose their jobs.
I would only add that your research has educated retail, right? Institutions might be dismissing it currently, but you have your following, Kathy, Yassine has his following, like ARC's team has been empowered to connect with their audiences. And while there are haters of ARC, there's a much larger army, I think, of lovers on Reddit and Twitter, and everyone cheering on what ARC is doing based on the open source research.
Which has been wonderful. In fact, there's a concept called accredited investors in our world. Accredited investors have to meet certain income and asset thresholds before they can invest in anything risky, which the SEC deems risky. Now, Hester Peirce at the SEC is fighting this concept, and so are we. We're trying to democratize investing and give these opportunities to anyone. Now, if you ask me who are the accredited investors in our space, I'm going to tell you it's the retail. They know because they're reading our research, and these investments, many of them do not make lightly. They want to study everything we put out. Those are the truly accredited investors. So hopefully we're going to be working with the SEC over time to change that dynamic.
All right, and there you have it, guys. That is Kathy Wood from ARC Investments, one of the biggest spokespeople in crypto. She's explaining to you how, a bit like what Rao Power was saying, that people are afraid of change. They're going to tell you that when Shiba Inu does this potential move down to this area and that most of your portfolio is wiped it upon, they're going to tell you this is the point to take out what you have left. Okay, go buy yourself a pair of trainers, lick some wounds, have a glass of milk, buy a carton of milk, buy a crate of milk with whatever you've got left. It won't be much, and then bang, that happens, and you didn't watch this channel, you didn't watch YouTube, and you were the guys to take out your holdings when it went down to there. That is the depression stage of the Wall Street cheat cycle. You do not want to exit a depression. If anything, that's where you want to buy. If anything, that's where you want to hold. And you will see the price will once again repeat the cycle, because it always does, baby. That's where you're going to make your money. Make sure you stay informed. Make sure you stay with us. runguys.com. Aaron AJ Crosby here, signing out. Take care.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And share it if you fly.